All right. We are super happy that you guys are here, that you're tuning in, that you are with us today. We are super excited to be back. It is beautiful spring. So I am super excited, loving the weather. And we wanted to talk about, spring is about blooming and coming into, you see it in nature, right? It comes into its own. It comes in and it brings forth this creation and it creates automatically. And we see it all the time. And sometimes we take that for granted. And so today I would love to talk to Dr. Tom and Shelley Nigolo about using the powers that we have to create the things that we want in our life. So thank you to both for showing up and being here today.
Oh, our pleasure. Thanks for supporting us and being there.
Thank you so much, LaShonda. It's always an honor and a joy.
Yep.
So let's jump in, shall we?
Yeah. So tell us, what do you guys think is the first steps in kind of creating or tapping into their power so that they can create?
Well, I think the first step is to start to limit, and I'm going to say this, ignore the outside noise. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. What I am saying is you got to limit it. You got to stop listening to everything and everyone and the things that tell you how to be, how to behave, what to do. You should be this way. You shouldn't be that way. Don't do this. Don't do that.
Everyone's opinion.
Yeah. And goodness knows there's so much of that out there that it's almost hard to go anywhere, and not, if not hear it, at least see it. I mean, we go to the grocery store, and there's a big sign, wear a mask. Okay, but that's more of everybody telling you how it is you should be. I'm not saying don't wear a mask in the grocery store. But what I am saying is discern for yourself, and in that discerning, you really get to watch. You have to watch, I think, more. Now, see, I'm telling you what to do. But you watch more of what's going on. Just watch it. Be aware of what's really going on out there and some of the sources. That's the first step, is taking a step back from all that.
And learning to become self-reliant, self-responsible for whatever your actions are, whatever the quality of life is that you want to have happen, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, self-responsibility means generating from your own experience. That's what self-reliance really is. Well, in order to do that, you really have to get down to what is your experience, and ultimately who you are in the world, what you want to have happen, how you want to create, what you want to manifest, how you want your life to be ultimately and internally. But that's the starting place. Take some quiet time, take some breaths, turn off the news, turn off the television, maybe put some quiet music on or something, just to let your body and your thinking start to slow down.
Go outside, take a walk, or go to the lake, or go to the beach, or a place where you feel more peaceful.
Yeah, that's the first step.
That's excellent. And I know people, after they do that, what happens is, especially people who are, well, all of us for that matter, we all have patterns. We all have these repeated behaviors that we do. How would you say people could deal with that? Because like you said, we need to slow down, but what if some of their habits or things like that are getting in their way?
Well, again, what is a habit? Let's take a quick look at that. Very simply, what a habit is something, obviously, that you do over and over again. But more importantly, is something that you have really convinced yourself that, for whatever reason, has to be repeated. You have to remind yourself, do this all the time, do that all the time. So the first step in letting go of that, again, is look at it. Okay, so I keep having this pattern, and does this pattern really help me support me in getting to where I want to be, having the experience, the feeling, supporting my joyfulness and, being out in the world and the pleasure I get from family or wherever it may be. And that's how to begin to stop the pattern. First, you have to recognize the pattern and then say, okay, well, is this really working for me?
And you have to be willing to really take a good look at yourself and know what your life is about, what's really important to you. That would be very, very essential in moving forward like this.
Yeah. And don't try and change everything all at once. It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen that way. We like it to, maybe, but it won't. So as you look at this and learn more discernment and practice that, that's when you start to see things are starting to change. Oh, I don't do that as intensely, or I don't do that as often. And keep letting go of the things that simply aren't working for you in your life. It's a simple statement. Simple, not easy, because there are two ways to live life. You live life at the effective things, running around and doing because all the reasons you have, or you live life more consciously. Live life choosing the things that you want to do and how you want to do them.
Mm.
And that's where discernment is. All right, do I really want to have this in my life this way, the way it is? And if it is, fine. If it works for you, good. But I think you'll find that probably more often than not, it isn't. And then you go, oh, that's not working for me. Okay, so now you look at, okay, how do I change that? What do I do? What do I need to let go of? What awareness about myself do I need to have now and be looking at? And who can help me? You don't get through life. You go through life on your own, but you don't go through life by yourself. It's all your experience. But there are people and things out there that can really help you move through this in an easier way.
Without you're having to figure it out for years and years and years, if at all.
Yeah, and I think that's crucial because
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
sometimes people forget about taking back your power or standing in your power also means seeking resources, seeking out people who have more information on the topic than you, that have tools that they can use to help you make the process easier, or for you to even, in a sense, as we say, get out of your own way kind of thing. And people need to really, like you said, Tom, seek that out. Most people who've gotten to a certain level or cleared some stuff have done it with help and guidance. They have not done all of the major stuff or even, some of the trickier stuff on their own. So can you two share about the work that you do?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, we've been training men and women for over 35 years in creating a life that they love. And very simply, learning how to manifest with ease in the world, to heal whatever it is that holds us back, and to really master who we are and what we're passionate about. And I have seminars, Power of Woman seminar that I developed many, many years ago, for over 35 years now that I've been teaching for women. And that is a 3-month program for women. Also, Tom and I have True Partnerships training, which is both for personal and professional development and for business. And that is also a 3-month program that trains people in creating relationships that are lasting, meaningful, where you produce extraordinary results together. Isn't that a novel idea? I also do very deep inner child work that I developed out of having to heal my own life. So all of this work that we've developed, and Tom will tell you about what he does, but all of the work that we've developed has come out of healing our own lives and healing our relationship as well.
Yeah. I'm a trance channel. I'll talk more about that a little bit later. We'll actually do a mini channeling today. I'm also a body healer. I developed years ago a body system called cellular energy releasing. It's a method that gets into the body and supports people in letting go of both the physical and emotional things that keep them in place, that they have trapped or held, or however you want to look at it. Also, I teach men in transition. I'm a transitional coach for men and for business. Um, and mainly what we are engaged in, Shelley and I, is supporting people in getting to a place where they really know they can be. And if you will, should be in their own thinking. Well, I should be feeling this way. I should be doing this. And just something doesn't feel right. And supporting them in making that transition from wherever it is they're experiencing to a greater awareness of the power that they have, the natural insight, and bringing that into their life so that they're really creating and doing and having what it is they want.
That's awesome. Can you both talk to, because both do deeper work about the body and the inner child, can you talk to how that, if you don't work on those things, how it stops your power?
Mm.
Well, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, but a little bit. Um, the thinking mind and the brain and that whole construct is there for a reason, obviously, and that is to keep us in survival, keep us around. That's what it's for. So the mind will do almost anything it thinks it has to for that to occur. Whether it has to or not, doesn't make any difference. So like we were talking about before, being able to discern between those automatic things that we have done or think we have to do, and shifting over to what's real here. What do I really need? What do I really want to have occur? Is the shift that I think that we can support people in, and they can support themselves.
I want to just mention very briefly that we all have these perceptions about who we are, about our lives, and we live our life based on those perceptions that we've constructed. And mostly those perceptions are not real. They're not based, they may have been based in some experience from the past, but that past is no longer in current time. So we're still living through those perceptions, or what I call an overlay of life. And when you clear that out, when you clear those constructs, those perceptions, those illusions, in fact, you have a wide open, free life to be able to create whatever it is you want to create in your life with ease. And that's the work we do in supporting people and really getting down to who we are as people, our own mastery as human beings, and to be able to move our lives with ease in the world and to really impact other people if we choose.
And that's beautiful. Because I think people have to see, and I'm glad you said that about the illusions, because that's really crucial. I think sometimes we're so stuck in that, and then we feel hopeless, and then we feel powerless, and realizing that no, it can change. And that's why we talked about getting help and using other people, their wisdom and their resources and their skills and talents to get to really who you are, the essence of who you are, because the other stuff, like you said, is an illusion, and it blocks, it kind of blocks our flow and blocks us from creating, because we're kind of stuck, not because we really are, but we're stuck in the illusion. So I am so grateful for the work that you guys do. It's really important.
Thanks. It is really a pleasure for us. And, having come through our own piles of stuff that we had to heal, mine it from my difficult childhood in Tom, with the things that he grew up with. We are really grateful for supporting people because we really know how it is. We've been there. And turning it around and having a life that really is extraordinary is, our birthright as human beings. So you
Good.
want to,
So yeah, let's channel here for a little bit. I'm going to channel the Ascended Master Kuthumi. Kuthumi is the combined energy of Pythagoras, the Greek mathematician and philosopher, Saint Francis of Assisi, and the Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan was the Indian leader who built the Taj Mahal. And Kuthumi says that the combined energy of those three is the experience of unconditional love. So he has given me the label of, the voice of unconditional love, which I gratefully accept. I'm a trance channel, which means I go into deep meditative trance. I have no hearing, no experience, nothing's there for me. It's just black. And short time later, whatever time it is, I come back into my body and I have no experience of what's happened when I'm channeling. Started a channel about 35 years ago. It was spontaneous. I didn't study for it. I didn't do anything. I didn't even know I wanted it until later. And when it started, just as a kind of a side thing, when it started, Shelley and I said, well, if this has real value, if this is real, because in the beginning, I didn't know, quite frankly. But if this is real, it'll have value not only in our lives and our relationship, but it'll also have value for other people as well. And so that's what's been happening. And so I'm going to keep doing it. So, anything else that they should know about the channeling?
no, I think that's
Yeah.
all for now. Kuthumi will have a brief discourse today with some mini channeling. And Lashonda and I will ask a couple of questions of Kuthumi so as to give you a fuller experience of what it is to really be powerful in your life, take your power back and be able to discern what you need for your life and moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So I'm going to get out of the screen, so it'll be just Tom right now, and then you'll hear me in the background from time to time.
Yeah, Shelley will be the disembodied voice.
Okay.
Okay. Well, now, good day to you, my dear. And how are you on such a fine day that is here?
Very well, Kuthumi.
Very good, very good. And so, let us speak about this for a bit. So the question that you have is, who are you? What does that mean? People talk about getting to the self, understanding the self, feeling who you are, you see. What does that mean, really? There's so much talk about it and so much misunderstanding. Because when somebody asks you, who are you? They want you to give them an answer that they expect. Usually, people don't ask you directly. They'll find some indirect way of talking about it. Oh, what do you do? What is your life? However the conversation may be. But what they're really asking you is, who are you in the vibration, the self of who you are, you see? And so let us speak of this for a bit, because usually, very often indeed, people say, well, I don't know who I am, or I'm not sure. Or maybe they will say, I have no idea, don't even know what you're talking. What do you mean, who am I? I'm me. I do this and I do that. And they define themselves by their outside experience rather than the experience that they already are, you see. When you ask somebody, who are you? For the most part, they're going to scratch their head and say, I don't know, so I'll go searching for it. And when I find it, I'll come back and let you know, you see. But can you find yourself? Is there a place you can go? Someone you can study with? Some book that you can read? Some prayer that you can make? Something to chant, a mantra that will give you the experience of yourself? The answer, very simply, to the question is, of course not. Because who you are is not contained in anything to do, or to hear, or to read. Because who you are is contained in who you are. This may sound like doublespeak, but let us explain it. It means that the vibrational essence, the universal experience, the God within, is already. We have spoken about this much. Because uncovering rather than discovering, you can't discover what you already have because you already have it. You see? And in already being the experience, the vibration, the essence of who you are already means that you can't do anything with it. To experience it. Because we're talking about the unexperienceable. What does the self feel like? What does the self look like? What is unconditional love within the experience of it like? You can't explain these things because they are feeling things. Some people say it is like riding a bike. You can learn all about the bike, but the experience of balance is not describable. It just is. You have it. You see? And once you have it, you never forget it. And so in this way, the self is already. It is the balance in the bike. Now, what can you do with balance? Well, you can get on the bike, balance, and go all over the place. You see? But balance is experienced in the action of bike riding. Do you see this? And so who you are is experienced in the vibration of being in the world. The only way that you can experience the vibrational essence of who you are by being in the world with it and creating, manifesting, doing, being in action in the things that you are and do, you see. Now, what you do is up to you. What you do is dictated by passion, and then you take passion and you look into the world and you figure out the things to be expressed, things to be done that support who you are. And this is where something called discernment comes in. How do you know what's what? How do you know to do this and not that? How do you know to go here and not there? You see. Well, this now we're talking about a practice thing. When you learn about going into the world as who you are, what happens is there will be a vibrational experience, a physical experience, an emotional and thinking experience that you get out of being in the world as a three-dimensional human being. And so in this way, you begin to see what is in balance and what is out of balance with what it is you want to create, how it is the feeling of self is to be expressed in the world, you see, not how you're going to get to the experience of self, because you are already there. So you see, the only way to be with it, as we have said, is be in the world. Go out, go out. You see, create, be in action. But be in action from that vibration of self, be aware of it, be cognizant of it in all times and everything, so that life now becomes creating from ease and vibration and not forcing and having to and suffering and emotions and all of that. So this is a practice thing. You're going to make some mistakes, that is fine. And there are really mistakes? No. What they are is things you have done that don't work. What does it mean not to work? It means it is not consistent, not vibrational whole and in balance with who the experience of self is for you. You see? And so, as you go into the world this way, then all the things, all the noise in the world, all the chatter, all the yammering dissipates to very quiet. It will never disappear, it will always be there. But now you can choose, rather than react to it, is respond to it in a way that is consistent with the love that you are and the vibration of self and God within. See? And so please, upon the questions in this time.
Katsumi, I have a question in regard to people who have a lot of fear and doubt about moving forward from being inside for so long with the COVID virus, and what choices they should make now. What do you suggest in their moving forward now?
Well, in their moving forward, it is important to get as much understanding, information, and knowledge. In this case, this is important, of what is going on and what is occurring. Both the things that people who like it say, the people who don't like it say, read everything, you see, but do not be controlled by it. Again, when you have educated the self, when you have knowledge and understanding, then you will begin to acquire some insights into what is so for you. You see? And what is the feeling of the choice that you are making? Does it feel, again, consistent with self or not? You see? This way, fear disappears. There can be no fear when you are in the choice of clarity. You see? You trust your feelings, trust your body, trust your knowing, trust your knowledge, trust your insight, and then you will make the proper choices for you. But do not be afraid, you see. There is nothing to fear when you are fully engaged in the vibration of self.
Thank you, Katumi. That was very, very helpful. So let me just make sure that I understand. So when we're in or when we're feeling and have the vibration that something feels good, then we can say, okay, this may be the right action for me to take at this moment because it feels good for me, or it may be the right direction to go in.
Yes. Well, it not so much good as the word balance, you
Ah,
see,
okay.
because good means oh, going to get good things out of it. But balance means you're willing to look at what is so. You see, balance means consistency with the vibration of self, and also a consistency with what it is you want to create, you see. So you must ask the self ultimately, what are you creating? What are you building? What are you having happen in your life, both emotionally and spiritually, physically? And does this thing engaged in this practice, is that balanced with those experiences?
That makes total sense. Yeah, the balance kind of takes out the judgment of it and matches it, like you said, to who you really are.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So some people may say they have a lot of things going on. Um, is there things that they should do to help themselves feel the balance more?
Yes, the only place you can feel balance is in the physical body, you see. Otherwise, you're just all thinking all over the place. Now, how do you get balance in the physical body? By focusing on the actual physical feelings in the body that give you the signals, physical signals that ultimately become thoughts in the brain and the wiring of the mind itself, you see. So when you are engaged in something, first of all, what is the feeling of the vibration of self as you bring it into the world? It will have a physical feeling in the body, one very specific, that as you work upon it and as you notice, it becomes more and more recognizable. And so as you're about to engage in this thing or that thing, first observe the body. Is there a quiet vibration in the body, a hum, if you will, or a balance or a consistency with that feeling, that vibrational experience in the body of self? If not, then it may be discordant, you see. And so if it is discordant, then take another look. Okay, what is this feeling? Why is this not feeling proper for me? What is going on here? You see, and don't act and don't react, but simply be with the feeling. And in that engagement, you will become clear what to do.
Thank you.
And one more question, please, if you have one.
You know, I'm thinking about people who feel really stuck, Katumi, who have difficulty putting themselves out there in these times. Is there a message that you can give to these people that so that they can begin to free themselves up to move forward?
Yes, if you're in this condition, then you are you're looking at fear. You see, you are being told or experienced or whatever it may be that there's something to fear out there. That is fine. Fear is a good starting point to go into the world. Now, here's why we say that. Because do one little thing, you see, one thing, one step outside, one little creating, something, do something that goes against the fear. That is, of course, not dangerous, but do one thing. Take a step, open the door, look outside. You see, whatever it may be. And then as you see that from this fear, you have stepped over it, then the other fear and the next one and the next one, until the fear is simply a thought, not something to be held on to, not something to be that prevents you from walking into your life. You see? So do one thing and then do another thing, you see. And then as you practice this, you will see the fear is not real. The fear is an illusion. Illusions are eliminated by walking into them, you see. But you don't have to go rushing ahead. If you want to, go ahead. But what is easier and more practical is just moving into it slowly and practicing dissipating the fear that is within. You see?
Thank you so much.
Very
for
good,
sharing.
yes.
That was very great.
And so, my dears, until the next of our calming, peace to you in this time. Hi.
Hi, welcome back.
Thanks.
As always, that was amazing. That was wonderful and just what we needed, of course.
Of
Yeah,
course.
of course,
That was
you know.
a great idea in having that conversation today.
Yeah, and I think, you know, one of the things I want people to take away as we end this is that how can they get in contact with you? Because this was just a mini reading and we did it to support people and help them, but there could be specific things going on in your life that you really need some guidance with from Tom or Shelley, or you really want to sit down and have a one-on-one with Katumi. How can they receive these services?
Well, the best way to reach us would be through my email, shelleynegalo@gmail.com. That's Shelley with an EY. And the last name is N as in Nancy, E, G as in girl, E, L as in Larry, O-W. shelleynegalo@gmail.com. Also, you can reach us on Facebook. There are two places, The Voice of Unconditional Love. That's a Facebook group, The Voice of Unconditional Love. And that is all about Tom and the channeling with Ascended Master Katumi. And also Millennia of Love, celebrating relationships that raise human consciousness. And also you can check us out at www.academyforconsciousliving.com.
Perfect. That's awesome. So I want everyone to really take advantage of this because there's times in all of our lives where we feel like we don't have power, where we feel like we don't have hope, or we've lost our way, or we're kind of stuck in a cycle. And we need someone else's help and guidance to get out of that. There's no shame in that. That's just equals being human, really. So we really need to take advantage of people that can help us in such an amazing way and can create lasting results. And that's what Dr. Tom and Shelley Negalo can do. So I want to thank you both for what you do for others and being of service the way you are.
Thank you.
And thanks for having us today, Oshanda. It's really great being with you again.
We so appreciate you.
Well, we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.